If you've already seen part 1, you know the enemy: complacency. If not, hit pause and watch it now, because part 2 only makes sense once you know what billionaires are truly afraid of. In part 1, we uncovered that silent threat, a hidden habit more dangerous than failure itself. It's not losing money or facing competition that haunts billionaires. It's the slow, invisible trap of settling, of believing this is enough. But knowing the enemy is only half the story. The real question is, how do billionaires fight it? In this second part, we'll dive into the exact strategies billionaires use to stay sharp, stay hungry, and stay ahead. You'll discover how they protect themselves from the very mindset that destroys billion-dollar empires, and how you can apply those same lessons to your own life. Because escaping complacency isn't just their secret to success, it could be yours too. Recognizing complacency as a threat is only the first step. The real question is, how do billionaires fight it? How do they make sure this invisible enemy never takes root in their minds or businesses? The answer lies in a set of deliberate habits and philosophies that keep them sharp, hungry, and constantly evolving, even when the rest of the world sees them as already successful. Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest investors in the world, is known not just for his fortune but for his extraordinary discipline in avoiding complacency. His secret? Relentless learning. Buffett reportedly spends 5 to 6 hours a day reading, not just financial reports but books, newspapers, and analysis from various industries. To the average person, this might seem excessive. Why would someone who already knows more about investing than almost anyone else spend so much time learning? Because Buffett understands that the day he stops learning is the day he starts falling behind. The world evolves daily. New technologies, new business models, and new challenges appear constantly. By feeding his mind every single day, Buffett ensures that he never becomes trapped inside yesterday's knowledge. This is the opposite of complacency. Instead of assuming he already knows enough, Buffett operates with a mindset of continuous growth. His famous quote captures it best: "The more you learn, the more you earn." If Warren Buffett fights complacency through constant learning, Jeff Bezos does it through radical questioning. At Amazon's headquarters, there's a phrase carved into the company's culture: "It's always day one." What does this mean? For Bezos, day one represents the energy, urgency, and customer obsession of a startup. On day one, companies innovate fearlessly, take risks, and move fast. Day two, according to Bezos, is stagnation, and stagnation leads to decline. By insisting that Amazon always operate as though it's day one, Bezos built a culture where no success is final and no model is permanent. Even when Amazon became the largest online retailer in the world, Bezos kept pushing his team to question everything. How can we improve this process? What will customers want tomorrow that we're not providing today? What could disrupt us if we're not careful? This philosophy prevented Amazon from getting comfortable. Instead of being satisfied as an online bookstore, Amazon evolved into a global empire, expanding into cloud computing, AWS, logistics, streaming, and artificial intelligence. Each pivot was born from a refusal to accept that their current model was good enough. Another way billionaires fight complacency is by surrounding themselves with people who challenge them. Steve Jobs understood this better than most. His hiring philosophy was simple: A players hire A players, B players hire C players. Jobs knew that complacency doesn't just live in the mind of a leader, it spreads through organizations. If leaders surround themselves with people who are afraid to speak up, who play it safe, or who simply say yes to every idea, the organization slowly stagnates. To fight this, Jobs insisted on hiring the best minds, people who were not afraid to argue with him, challenge him, and push back on ideas. This constant clash of ideas kept Apple innovative. The iPhone, iPod, and iPad didn't come from comfort. They came from an environment where the status quo was never accepted. Billionaires fight complacency by ensuring their environment doesn't let them settle. The most dangerous form of complacency is believing that because you dominate today, you'll dominate tomorrow. Billionaires understand that disruption is inevitable. The only question is whether they will cause it, or their competitors will. Elon Musk embodies this mindset. When Tesla first entered the market, it focused on expensive sports cars like the Roadster. But Musk quickly realized that staying in this niche would never achieve his larger vision of sustainable transportation. Instead of remaining comfortable in the luxury segment, Tesla pivoted toward creating mass-market electric cars. The Model 3, aimed at everyday consumers, became a global success and turned Tesla into the leader of the EV revolution. Musk abandoned comfort to chase scale because he knew that complacency at the top could mean irrelevance in the future. When you look at these stories, Buffett's daily learning, Bezos's day one mindset, Jobs' people strategy, Musk's disruptive pivots, you see a clear pattern. Billionaires don't fight complacency with one single trick. They fight it by building habits, cultures, and environments that constantly push them out of comfort zones. They read more than necessary. They question more than comfortable. They hire people who argue with them. They disrupt their own successes before the world forces them to. Every one of these actions is designed to prevent the silent creep of mental complacency. For them, the cost of staying comfortable is far greater than the cost of taking risks. That's why billionaires embrace discomfort, uncertainty, and constant change. They know that as soon as they stop moving forward, decline begins. In the next chapter, we'll explore what happens when this fight is lost, the real-world consequences of ignoring complacency, and how billion-dollar empires can crumble when leaders let their guard down. Complacency doesn't destroy billionaires or companies overnight. It's silent. It creeps in quietly, disguising itself as stability or security. And by the time leaders realize what's happening, it's often too late. The most dangerous thing about mental complacency is not the loss of money. It's the loss of momentum. Momentum is what keeps companies alive. It's the forward motion, the hunger, the drive to adapt before the world changes. Once momentum is lost, even billion-dollar empires can collapse into irrelevance. Let's look at some of the clearest cautionary tales. Yahoo, the giant that said no. In the early 2000s, Yahoo was one of the biggest players on the internet. Its homepage was the entry point for millions of users every single day. In 2000, Yahoo was worth more than Google. Yet within a decade, it became almost irrelevant. Why complacency? When Google offered to sell itself to Yahoo for $1 billion in 2002, even worse, when Yahoo later had a chance to buy Facebook for $1 billion in 2006, they hesitated. By the time they tried to recover, Google and Facebook had already raced ahead. Yahoo didn't collapse because it lacked money or talent. It collapsed because its leaders became complacent. They assumed their place at the top was permanent. But in technology, there is no permanence. MySpace, the social network that stopped listening. Before Facebook, there was MySpace. In 2005, it was the world's most visited social networking site. At its peak, it had more users than Google itself. But within a few short years, MySpace went from unstoppable to obsolete. What happened? MySpace stopped innovating. Its leaders focused on maximizing advertising revenue instead of improving the user experience. Pages became cluttered, slow, and filled with spam. Meanwhile, Facebook, though smaller, focused on simplicity and speed. Users began leaving MySpace not because Facebook was bigger, but because Facebook was better. The real downfall wasn't the loss of users, it was the loss of momentum. BlackBerry, from power to powerless. At one time, BlackBerry was the symbol of success. CEOs, politicians, and celebrities all carried the iconic BlackBerry phone. Its physical keyboard was beloved, and its secure email system made it the first choice for businesses. But BlackBerry's leadership made one fatal mistake. They underestimated change. When Apple introduced the iPhone in 2007, BlackBerry dismissed it as a fad. They believed people would never give up the physical keyboard. Instead of evolving, they doubled down on their existing model. The result? Within a few years, Apple and Android captured the entire smartphone market. BlackBerry's once unshakable dominance evaporated. The stories of Yahoo, MySpace, and BlackBerry share a common thread. The downfall came slowly, then all at once. The real fear. For billionaires, the true fear isn't about losing billions, it's about losing momentum. Money can be regained, companies can rebuild, but once momentum dies, revival is almost impossible. That's why the most successful billionaires fight complacency every single day. They understand that today's victory can become tomorrow's weakness if they let their guard down. In the next chapter, we'll explore the ultimate mindset that keeps billionaires ahead, the philosophy that turns fear into fuel and makes sure momentum never stops. When we hear the word billionaire mindset, it's easy to think it belongs only to the elite, the Musks, Bezoses, and Buffetts of the world. But here's the truth. The same mental traps that billionaires fear, like complacency, also shape our own daily lives. You don't need a billion-dollar empire to fall victim to mental stagnation. An average person working a 9-to-5 job, a small business owner, or even a student can get stuck in the same dangerous comfort zones. The difference is scale. For billionaires, complacency can cost billions. For ordinary people, it can cost dreams, growth, and untapped potential. So the real question is, how can you apply billionaire-level thinking in your everyday life? Continuous learning. Stay a student for life. Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest investors alive, spends 5 to 6 hours a day reading. Bill Gates takes reading vacations where he devours dozens of books in a week. Why? Because they understand that knowledge compounds like interest. For ordinary people, the lesson is simple. Never stop learning. This doesn't mean you have to read 500-page finance books or attend Ivy League classes. It means committing to consistent growth. Read 10-15 pages a day. Listen to podcasts that challenge your thinking. Take online courses to expand your skills. Learning isn't about information. It's about sharpening your ability to adapt. Seeking feedback, build a circle that challenges you. Steve Jobs famously said, "A players hire A players." He understood that surrounding yourself with people who push you is the best defense against complacency. Most of us, however, do the opposite. We prefer comfort. We spend time with people who agree with us, validate our choices, and never question our routines. It feels good, but it's dangerous. If you want to grow, ask your colleagues, friends, or mentors for honest feedback. Encourage them to tell you what you don't want to hear. Accept criticism as fuel, not as a personal attack. Challenging your own comfort zone. The human brain craves routine. It feels safe in patterns. That's why so many people settle into the same job, same habits, and same lifestyle, even if it no longer fulfills them. This is complacency in disguise. Billionaires fight this by constantly stepping into uncertainty. Elon Musk risked his PayPal fortune to build Tesla and SpaceX. Jeff Bezos left Wall Street to start an online bookstore when the internet was still a novelty. You don't need to take billion-dollar risks, but you can practice the same principle. Start a side project. Learn a new skill outside your profession. Travel somewhere unfamiliar. Volunteer in an environment that challenges your worldview. Growth begins where comfort ends. Each time you push your boundaries, you're training your mind to adapt instead of settle. Building adaptability, learn to pivot quickly. One of the greatest billionaire traits is adaptability. When Amazon began, it was just an online bookstore. Today, it's a global empire selling everything from cloud services to groceries. The reason? Jeff Bezos built adaptability into Amazon's DNA. For ordinary people, adaptability means being willing to pivot when circumstances change. If your job is becoming obsolete, retrain for new industries. If your business model isn't working, adjust before it collapses. The trap of "I'm fine where I am." The most dangerous phrase you can tell yourself is, "I'm fine where I am." That's exactly what doomed giants like Nokia, Yahoo, and BlackBerry. They thought they were safe until change made them irrelevant. For you, "I'm fine" might mean staying in a job you dislike because it's comfortable, avoiding new skills because the old ones still work, ignoring feedback because it hurts your ego. But here's the harsh truth. Complacency kills dreams, slowly, silently, until one day you wake up and realize years have passed but you haven't moved forward. Bringing it back to you. You may never own $1 billion company. You may never appear on Forbes' list. But you do have something billionaires value above all: momentum. Momentum in your career, momentum in your learning, momentum in your personal growth. The same way billionaires guard momentum like treasure, you must guard it in your own life. Because once it's lost, it's hard to regain. So here's your billionaire-inspired action plan. Keep learning. Every single day, seek feedback that makes you uncomfortable. Step into discomfort regularly. Adapt before life forces you to. You don't need billions to live with a billionaire's mindset. You just need the courage to fight complacency. Because in the end, the real wealth isn't money, it's growth. When we think of billionaires, we imagine them worrying about stock markets, investments, or losing money. But as we've seen, the one mental habit they fear most isn't financial. It's complacency. Complacency is subtle. It doesn't arrive with alarms or warnings. Instead, it creeps in quietly, disguised as comfort, routine, or even success. It tells you, you've made it. You don't need to push further. And that's when progress dies. For billionaires, complacency is more terrifying than failure. Failure can teach lessons, spark resilience, and even open new doors. But complacency creates stagnation, a slow death of momentum. It's the reason giant companies like Yahoo and BlackBerry collapsed, and the reason ambitious individuals sometimes fade into irrelevance. At the end of the day, it's not money that makes someone a billionaire. It's their mindset, their ability to keep evolving when others settle, their refusal to let comfort kill progress. And here's the truth. You don't need billions to live with that mindset. Whether you're a student, entrepreneur, or professional, the most powerful step you can take is to guard yourself against complacency. Because the real wealth isn't the money in your account, it's the growth in your life. And avoiding complacency may just be the most powerful step you take in your own journey. If this insight about complacency opened your eyes, don't just stop here, take action. Start by asking yourself right now, where in my life am I settling? Write it down, challenge it, replace it with growth. And if you want to keep learning the exact billionaire habits that can transform your mindset and future, make sure you subscribe to this channel for more deep dives into billionaire psychology. Share this video with a friend who needs to break free from complacency. Comment below. What's one area in your life where you refuse to get complacent? Remember, billionaires don't just think differently, they act differently. Your next step could be the turning point. Don't just watch, apply it.